thank you for granting us this interview and to say that I noticed that lately you've been doing a bit of response to Governor Wike and a couple of other friends of yours on the other side, and I'm wondering what is going through your mind as we speak.
Well, to be quite honest, I don't like to speak about Governor Nyesom Wike because once upon a time we were friends. Once upon a time he was my client, and the Yorubas have a saying that Jalo Dele only do way in the days of disagreements. Every song becomes a satire. Is a man I love with all my heart, and that's the truth. Very hardworking, very, very, very hardworking, and that's why they call him Mr. Project. At a stage, he invited me to Port Harcourt. I spent good time in Port Harcourt, rebranding him, because as much as he was working, a lot of people did not appreciate his hard work because of only one thing, because of only one weakness, his anger. He's a very rambunctious, easily tempestuous person. We were not friends originally. I used to be friends with his boss, the Right Honorable Chibuke Rotimi Amechi. He himself alludes to it all the time that, Dele Momodu, I used to watch you and Amechi flying helicopter over rivers. So, and I could feel the admiration in him. When I started going there, in fact, he was so humble. He would open the door of his own car and ask me to sit in his official car. He would just remove the flag on the car, and we had such a healthy relationship. And he used to commend my work, that everybody, is it because he was spending a lot of money on television in particular, and sometimes he was more of a television person, and by the time I came in with my blistering, social media engagements, he showed a lot of appreciation. He's a man, he's a family man. He sits down at home, he leaves his house, goes to work, come back home, and we and his friends will eat together. So, but something happened. Around the time, I think March 30th last year, I wrote him a letter. By then, I started suspecting that he wanted to contest the president, but he never told anybody. So I wrote him a letter, a heart-to-heart letter, something that you only write to your own friend and your blood brother. And I said, I'm suspecting that you want to contest, but I want to let you know that I have access to a lot of people in Nigeria, and I know the way they feel about you. If you're a consultant to a man, so you should be able to gauge the mood of the nation and let him know the truth. So I wrote him the letter in good faith. I didn't say he shouldn't run. So I pleaded with him. I said, I want to run. Why didn't he tell me he wants to run? I was able to open up to him that I want to run. And I believe that if we're going to run, Nigeria will need certain characteristics for the candidate. Okay? So, and I laid down some of these characteristics. I said, from the feelers I'm getting, if you eventually decide to run, you are going to have to contend with forces, especially in the north. I told him, I said, I didn't mince words, and everything I told him came to pass. I said, look, you are going to, the feeling in the north is that you are anti-Muslim. That's the feeling. They believe that you are fighting them by taking them to court over the VAT issue. You know, he went to court, and then he likes to say he's fighting for the cause of the South. So in the moment you say that, definitely you are going to have issues with some people. Okay? So I tried to explain this, and I said, so if for any reason you are not able to run, please, the only thing I lack is money. Everything else God has given me. Global contacts, global exposure, experience, everything God has given me. But as a brother and as a friend, I think that was around the time I listened to Pastor Paul Adefarazin's sermon, where he was talking about option B, that people, you must always have option B. So I wanted him to have an option B. That was the purpose of my letter. But I realized that, and I copied 2 people the letter so that they will be able to advise me and also speak to him, because they were our mutual friends. One of them is Mohamed Adoke, the former Attorney General and Minister of Justice. We're very close. When he came, briefly on exile in Ghana, I was one of those who received him very warmly, settled him in, and we liked each other. Very brilliant man. They were harassing him, and I felt that it was unnecessary. He did his job as Attorney General, I believe, to the best of his abilities, and he should be commended instead of people trying to hand him. He had very powerful enemies. So we had become like brothers. He would come to my house, I go to his place, I make amala for him, and so I felt this is one of us, so I copied him. Then a lawyer I respect so much, tremendously. For me, he's one of my favorite lawyers in Nigeria, Chief Michael Zekome. And he's my big brother, he's an Afemite from Edo State like myself. So I copied him in the letter. And both of them agreed that the letter was very reasonable. But what was the response of my governor friend? He stopped picking my calls. Immediately. I tried several times. I would send him messages. He would not respond. He didn't respond. So I started thinking that, okay, maybe there is more to this. And I will call Adoke, because I know Adoke was one of those who see him regularly till today. They see regularly, and Adoke will say, oh, don't worry, he's a very busy man. If he had anything against you, he will tell you. Then one day, I called Adoke again out of, what is going on here? Why is this my brother just ignoring me? This is someone that, we could virtually be together from morning till evening, and we had that mutual respect. And then Adoke called him and said, Dele Momodu is not happy. He feels you are ignoring him and all that. And immediately he called me. He said, Dele, why do you think, you know me, I don't pretend. If I have anything against you, I will tell you. I said, well, it's strange. You don't pick my calls. He said, no, I don't like it. So you mean you can't vouch for me? So even if I die today, you will not be able to say things that I can do, what I can do. And, but thereafter again, he went back into his shell. So then I started traveling around the country. I felt, well, at my age, my life does not depend on anyone except God. So if I was expecting my friend to support my dreams, and I was also ready to support his dreams, no problem. Because what I expected him to say was, I am running. And then between us, we can agree. Maybe I will decide to step down because of him or something. But he refused to discuss it with me. So the next time I thought we met was when we were doing our screening at the PDP National Secretariat in Abuja. In fact, he walked in that day and saw me, and it was like old bodies. In fact, there were governors in the room. One of them is the governor Udom Emmanuel of Akwa Ibom. He was in the room. In fact, immediately Governor Wike saw me. Dele Momodu, he embraced me, was very excited, and even the governor had to say, I thought you wanted to greet me first. That's the kind of relationship that I have with Wike. Then he said, oh, no, in this evening we will meet. Let us meet at the Rivers Governor's Lodge. Blah, blah, blah. Again, I started calling him. He disappeared. No problem. So, but I carried on with my own programs, traveling here and there, going to see the Sultan, going to see the Emir of Kano, going to see our party elders. I was going around the country. I mean, and that was it. Then the what do you call it? The convention or the party primary was coming. So one of the people again I went to see is Governor Peter Fayoshe. I went to see him at the George Hotel in Ikoyi. And when I got there, he said, boss, you know me, I don't deceive people. I'm totally for Wike. Wike is the next president of Nigeria. I said, how? I said, no, there is nothing that can change that. That Wike is in control of everywhere and everything. And I said, okay, he's my brother. If he's president, I'm okay with it. There's no problem, but from what I know, there will be every effort to stop him. Nobody listened to me. Maybe in retrospect, if we had listened to one another, maybe things would have been different. You see, even your driver can have information for you. Even if you think someone, because when you are powerful, you are powerful. But if you think someone doesn't have as much information as you have, but listen to every information. Every information is important. So, but they didn't listen to me. So we went to the primary, and what happened, and Alhaji Atiku Abubakar emerged as the winner. Hey, all hell let loose. In fact, the way one of the former presidents of Nigeria described it to me is that Wike is inconsolable. That's when I first heard that description of his anger. He went totally ballistic, and we kept hoping against hope that he would soon calm down. He would, and in fairness to Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, he is a perfect gentleman. He is a consummate Democrat. He went all out. He didn't look at age. He didn't look at his status. He went all out. Went as far as to London to go and meet with Wike and the G5 governors and everybody. And they had dinner. If you are somebody, if you have quarrels, and the person comes to you to appeal, okay, he said they made promises to him that they did not fulfill, that they said they were going to make him vice president. But what you also have to know in politics is that, number one, if a Governor Tambua had stepped down, there is no way you will not take his interests into consideration. If truly, as Wike claims, Dr. Yochayu had helped Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, do you expect Alhaji Atiku Abubakar to become his albatross? No. So it's like a match between Arsenal and Manchester United. Arsenal wins the match, and you said no, it was the referee that helped Arsenal. Then you now start fighting Arsenal. That Arsenal should naturally sack the referee. That's how I like to describe it. It doesn't happen. And then I know as an insider that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar was never desperate. Alhaji Abubakar had wanted to work from the beginning with Wike. But after it seemed everything was okay and ready, then Wike started running his own show. And part of what Alhaji Atiku Abubakar said was that if the party decides to zone to the south, I will support it being zoned to the southeast. He had always believed that the southeast was marginalized, and that is why he picked his running mate always from that axis. Even Governor Okowa, that is from Delta, is virtually an Igbo man. His name is Ifeanyi Chukwu. He's an Igbo man. So he had the soft spot for Igbo people. He had married in the place. He has children from the place. So he said, if my party decides, he said, I will not run. But what then happened was that Governor Otom and all the rest of them, they made sure that they threw open the gate so that it will accommodate Wike and others. I remember the day I bought my own form. I was one of the people who challenged them that, why are we buying a form when you are not determined where the zoning will go. So what if the zoning goes against where I come from? Are you going to refund my money? But because everything was being tailor-made for Governor Wike, so all of us became helpless. So he had always been the one controlling the party for years now. The chairman of the party, he will bring him down. Another chairman will come, he will bring him, and when he's tired or he's not satisfied, the person will go. It happened to his own brother, Secondus, Prince Uche Secondus. They removed him. So, and he knows part of the thinking when he started asking for the removal of Ayu was that even if you remove Ayu, you said it's because Ayu is a northerner and the presidential candidate is a northerner, that one of them has to come from the south. But even the constitution of the party says that if you remove the current chairman, the person who will replace him will still come from the same axis in the north. And that's what happened now. You can see that our new acting chairman is also a northerner. So, and for you to do a proper, effective removal, you will need a national convention. In the middle of a presidential campaign, who would have the time and the resources to do such a thing? So these were some of the issues that we were addressing. Of course, he got very angry that I agreed to work for Atiku Abubakar. I don't know what is wrong with that. Number one, I did not beg for a job from Wike, just like I did not beg for a job from the PDP Presidential Council. Everybody, in fact, I was so honored that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar had to personally call me, that everybody is mentioning my name as the best person to run the Directorate of Strategic Communications. So, and this is something that has to do with my profession. It has nothing to do with politics. So I was available for my party. What do you want me to do? To follow you sheepishly? There were people who were ready to follow you. You have more than enough. But I chose not to be one of them. That's my right. I'll be 63 on May 16, 2023. At 63, if I'm not able to take decisions, then what manner of adult am I? What manner of leader will not be independent-minded? I'm a very independent-minded person. I remember when I met Mrs. Tinubu at the funeral of Mrs. Kemi Nelson, and she was asking me, do you mean you're not going to campaign for my husband? I told her very politely, I'm in PDP. I cannot jump away from PDP because my friend is running in APC. And I stand by my decision. I've never been in the same party with them. Nobody complained then. They were in power in Lagos for 8 years. Did you see me there? No. I run my show. I hold Ashwaju in higher esteem, but we're just not in the same party.